give it a couple of years, and we might be seeing emissions-free and much quieter regional travel.
Many parts of the economy and people whose jobs depend on it are about tourism, particularly areas of the Washington and Oregon coast. Of course, many people like to go out there to enjoy the amazing views of the coastlines, and many of these small towns are dependent on tourism. Those, of course, that was all shut down in recent weeks. Hotels not even open, so people couldn't even go. Now that's starting to change a little bit. So, Tom, I just wonder, some of these areas on the coastlines, are they starting to reopen? And is it wise, frankly, for someone who's in the Tri-Cities saying, hey, I want to take a drive out to the Washington or Oregon coast, and maybe Cannon Beach, Haystack Rock? What will they be met with when they get there?
That's a good question, because we're in what I might call a soft reopening right now. So the onus is on the traveler to make wise choices. Right now, your governor in Oregon or Washington State is saying, please, recreate close to home. So perhaps going from the Tri-Cities to the coast would be a little farther than close to home, but you could do it now, which you couldn't have, say, 2 weeks ago. It was a city and county decision up and down the Oregon and Washington coast back in late March to shut down hospitality and tourist lodgings. And they're just now lifting those restrictions. If you go out to the coast now, you'll probably find virtual front desk experience or be talking to someone through plexiglass that's just been installed in the last couple of weeks. And hotels are generally operating at 50 or 60% of capacity.
Well, at some point, people may want to fly out there in a small plane, not a big commercial airliner, because we know that's having their own troubles at the moment, the airline industry. But maybe down the road, will someone be able to hop onto an electric plane and take a quick ride out to the coast? I'm getting at a recent story that you covered. Mose Lake was testing a big electric plane, and I wonder, this made international headlines. I heard about it on the BBC coming from London.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I heard that on the BBC NewsHour. Like, wow, Tom Banse was right there covering that story that same day. Why was it such a big story?
Well, this first flight that happened on May 29th was of a 10-passenger Cessna Caravan, which is kind of a workhorse airplane around the world for puddle jumper flights, basically, and air cargo. Actually, the biggest user in the Northwest is FedEx. But these are noisy little planes. They use a lot of gas. And just like the aviation industry as a whole, there's an interest in reducing carbon emissions. What was neat here is that this plane was entirely 100% all electric. It was converted by a Redmond-based electric motor maker and the flight testing operation of Aerotech in Mose Lake, and it flew beautifully. It's this kind of an airplane, the Cessna Caravan, that has a station wagon aura around it, and now there's a little Tesla oomph behind that with that high torque electric motor, according to the test pilot I spoke to. But at this point, the range is limited. This plane used to have 1,000-mile range with a jet fuel power. Now it's about 100 miles with electric batteries. So it could get you from Mose Lake to Seattle. At this point, not quite to the coast, but give it a couple of years. And we might be seeing emissions-free and much quieter regional travel.
Well, I will eagerly anticipate that, but I won't hold my breath, because I think we're still waiting for that high-speed rail that's going to connect all parts of the Northwest that you've talked about. Tom, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
You can see more on these and other stories at our website, nwpb.org. Thank you for joining us here in the unique Northwest.